Grid is formed, countdown continues, and we are set at Donington Park to go racing. The national circuit has delivered plenty of great touring car action over the years, and here is the next chapter set to be written. Aidan Moffat then, after a first ever touring car win, has his first ever touring car pole, and for the first ever time he has got 75 kilos of ballast to lug around as well. This is a real step into the unknown, Tim.
It is, and with a lot more cars, particularly at the front on the harder tyre and with weight, you've got to automatically find yourself looking at the grid and saying, right, who's got the soft or the medium, the prime tyre, and not so much weight. And you look at Turkington and Collard starting on row 2 and 3 on the outside behind Matt Neal, and also Tom Ingram now with just 39 kilos. They're going to fly, aren't they?
But also those BMWs, the rear-wheel drive cars with rocket ship starts, could well be up front by the time we get to Redgate. So there's going to be a real pinch point there. There's lots of people also further back on the grid with work to do. Ash Sutton got himself from 31st to 13th, which is a tremendous performance in race 1. He's still got no weight in the car, of course, so he could do another great job and another great start with the rear-wheel drive car. He is one to watch. Just heard from him on the grid as the green flag is waved. The cars are released then. Final warming up lap. Ron Austin now with 57 kilos, and he's on the option tyre as well. He could be one to watch in this, but the option tyre isn't expected to work as well as the prime tyre. But Aidan Moffat leads them into Redgate, ready for round 5 of the championship. Aidan Moffat and Matt Neal at the front of the grid. Rob Austin and Colin Turkington lining up on the second row. Toyota and BMW ahead of Toyota and BMW. Tom Ingram and Rob Collard on row 3. Then comes Gordon Shedden and the penalised Adam Morgan on the 4th row. Jeff Smith and Josh Cook are on row 5. Row 6, Matt Jackson and Jack Goff on the option tyre. He's one to watch in this. Ash Sutton comes next alongside Senna Proctor. Then Andrew Jordan starting on row 8 with Ant Wharton Eels, who made good progress in race 1. Ollie Jackson is next alongside Matt Simpson, row 9. Row 10 is Dave Newsham and Stephen Jelly. The 11th row, Josh Price and Will Burns. The 12th row, Aaron Taylor-Smith and Dan Lloyd, the two teammates alongside each other, ahead of Michael Epps and Chris Smiley on the 13th row. Row 14, Tom Chilton and Jason Plato. Let's see what he can do from there. Row 15 is James Cole and Martin Depper, who had strife early on in the first race. Jake Hill and Luke Davenport will start on the back row of the grid. Now this time around there's of course a real shuffle of ballast and also the option tyre. So Aidan Moffat has both to contend with, 75 kilos and the option tyre. Matt Neal has 66 and the option. Rob Austin 57 kilos and the option tyre. More weight, Colin Turkington 48 kilos, Tom Ingram 39, Rob Collard 33, Gordon Shedden lugs 27 around on the option tyre, 21 for Adam Morgan, 15 for Jeff Smith, 9 for Josh Cook. Correction on that, 27 for Morgan, 21 for Shedden. You keep the ballast from where you finish, where you cross the line, even if you get penalised. Option tyre for Ollie Jackson and for Matt Simpson, Stephen Jelly, Aaron Taylor-Smith, Dan Lloyd, Mike Epps and Chris Smiley as well. So there's a real spread of the tyre across the grid going into this race, and they will work their way up in a moment through McLean's, then Coppice, the run down Starkey Straight, heading into the chicane, which gave us drama, of course, in the first race. There's Adam Morgan. We all thought it was a pretty decent move, but half a second time penalty to put Gordon Shedden back ahead. But Adam Morgan carries the weight for the place he had across the line, so he still carries 27 against the 21 of Gordon Shedden. To the line they come. Aidan Moffat with 1 win to his name, 59 wins to Matt Neal, who will line up alongside him. And then the second row of the grid, Rob Austin. But Colin Turkington on the prime tyre and 48 kilos and rear-wheel drive. He could be a potential race winner of this, but there's such a long list of potential race winners these days in the British Touring Car Championship. We could be going for quite some time to go through that long list as we get set. For round 5, Aidan Moffat is in place at the front of the grid.
The driver's putting a lot of energy into the tyres on that warm-up lap, really weaving hard, braking hard, accelerating hard. In fact, braking and accelerating hard puts more energy into the tyres than weaving, unless you've got some very long, fast corners. So a lot of effort being made there to get the tyres up to temperature.
It's a long wait on the grid because, look, there are still cars yet to arrive at the chicane. Aidan Moffat's been sat there for a while.
But we see this every race now with 32 cars.
Yeah.
It takes a long time for them to form up.
So the marshals on the pit wall making sure that everybody is good to go. The green flag will be waved at the back once the last car is in place. The chase car, the medical car, will slot into position at the rear of the grid as well. Martin Depper arrives, then Jake Hill, then it is Luke Davenport. The green flag says that we are good to go. The 5-second board is displayed. Aidan Moffat then on pole position looks towards the lights. They glow red. Who is going to make the best start as we go racing? Colin Turkington, not surprisingly, is away rapidly. So is Rob Collard. They get past Matt Neal. Collard finds a face full of Rob Austin. Turkington tries the outside line against the Toyota. Moffat leads into Redgate. Austin on the inside. Turkington on the outside. Collard is fourth. Ingram is fifth. Matt Neal's gone backwards. He's sixth as they go through Hollywood for the first time. Moffat leads and is trying to escape. Rob Austin is second with his elbows out, trying to keep the BMWs, and Tom Ingram at bay as they dive down through the craners for the first time. Ingram right on the tail of Turkington, who goes a little bit wide. Austin goes even wider and off the road. Ingram's a little bit sideways. There's another big shuffle as Gordon Shedden goes through. Matt Neal's up the curb, and Rob Austin was the big loser in all of that.
Yeah, it looked like Rob was struggling again with his rear tyres as Jordan's gone off.
And one of the motorbase Fords as well. So from where they were around on the grid, it could have been Matt Jackson. We'll check as they come out of Coppice then this time. Moffat leading the way, but Andrew Jordan, Brands Hatch winner, off the road. And I fear it was Jackson that went with him, as in second spot then is Turkington, third is Ingram, fourth is Collard, and it was indeed Matt Jackson's Ford off the road. So last year's teammates have tangled. Now is that going to interrupt the race?
It's Collard in second place. He was the one that was really aggressive on the line and got up the inside, and look, he's up to second place, a typical Collard start. Ingram's held on nicely in third place. He'll be quite pleased with that.
This is Collard's view on the tail of Rob Austin through the planar curves.
Yeah, just watch to see if there's any contact. Look how skittish Austin is, trying just to keep it on the road. Just the tiniest of touches there as they went into the corner. Don't know whether that constitutes push to pass or not, but the problem now is that Rob Austin is a long way back as other cars struggle with right rear tyre temperature.
Morgan in strife in the Mercedes, losing out to Rob Austin. He's got Ash Sutton up behind him, but Adam Morgan was on the verge of a big moment there. You've got Atwater Neals buying into this as well in the Audi in the background as they head up through Schwartz-Curve, and the two race leaders have got themselves absolutely together now. Aidan Moffat there, look, coming under big attack from Rob Collard, who tries the outside line. Tom Ingram up the inside in the Toyota, found a gap. He's alongside Collard. Moffat still leads the way with 75 kilos on board. Which way does Ingram go? Which way does Collard go? What does Turkington do from fourth place? Here they come. Moffat is still just hanging on to the advantage. He defends the inside line. Ingram right up behind him. He leans on Collard. Through they go. Collard over the curb, almost in the way of his teammate there. The two BMWs avoid one another, but as they come over the line, Moffat leads the way. Ingram is second, the gap 4/10. In third place over the line, Collard. Fourth, Shedden. Fifth, Turkington. He's going backwards because now Matt Neal's got up and past him, and here comes Josh Cook round the outside of Turkington going through Redgate. Through it all, Moffat still has the race lead.
Yeah, the BMWs trying to avoid each other, not to have a repeat of the Mike Epps problem in race one, and it ended up with Turkington being the big loser and Ingram the winner. He's come out in a strong second place.
He's on the tail of Aidan Moffat, but Rob Collard wants to have another go at Ingram. Now Josh Cook driving superbly in the Maximum Motorsport Team Parker Ford. He's right there on the tail of Matt Neal as they work their way through Coppice. Gordon Shedden looking menacing as well. So what have we got? 7 for the race lead effectively. Aidan Moffat in the heavier Mercedes is the cork in the bottle as they work their way now through Coppice. But still Tom Ingram can't find a way past him. Let's see whether it's going to be now on the run down to the chicane. Moffat hugs the inside line. He's harder to pass than a kidney stone at the moment. Ingram cannot find the gap. To the outside line goes Gordon Shedden. Collard up the inside. There's a lock-up from Turkington on the tail of Cook. On the outside line is Matt Neal, and now the next one to join the queue is Jeff Smith. So we've got 8 of them now for the race lead as they come through, with Turkington the one that's been shuffled back in the pack. Rob Austin is another one who's dropped back, but Aidan Moffat is hanging on in there.
He is. He's fighting hard, and because of his good defensive acting, now has Ingram got enough of an overlap here? I'm sure he will. That's such a good place to pass a heavy car. We saw that Moffat doing it in race 1 on Austin.
And now Collard challenges for second place as well. You can see the way Ingram has gone now. He's opened up the gap straight away, and Moffat again has to go defensive. But look, he's got the ball stacked up behind him, including Ash Sutton, who's up into 9th place now in the Subaru, going great guns. So Ingram leads the way. Second, everybody else almost, because there Rob Austin is off the road. Sadly, that's down at the old hairpin. Moffat hangs on to second ahead of Collard. Josh Cook, remember 2 years ago he was a star here. He's on the outside of Gordon Shedden. Is he going to be able to brave it out with him? He's not. Turkington's coming back at them on the inside. Levels with Matt Neal, and Turkington's going to gain a place there. Sutton has got himself up past Jeff Smith, so he now goes into 8th place. Wow, race leader is Tom Ingram. Second, here is the long line of cars.
Yeah, and still, as they come across the stripe, it's going to be Aidan Moffat in second place, hugging that inside. And of course, the car behind, if he pulls out, someone will immediately fill that space. So he stays inside. They all queue up. Josh Cook's looking to take advantage anywhere he can.
Turkington trying to find a way up through the traffic as well. Downhill they go. Josh Cook having another very impressive race here, but Aidan Moffat hanging on to that second place. At what point does he have to give up the unequal struggle? Well, let's see. For the moment, he's just able to fend them all off. But look, the line stretches all the way back from second to 11th now, where you've got Jack Goff, and there are more that are going to join the queue. The yellow flags in that first sector are precluding overtaking in certain parts. Now, towards McLean's goes Moffat. They all concertina around. Ash Sutton to the outside line there to try to get past Turkington. He's got past Matt Neal. So Sutton is up into 7th. He goes for 6th on the outside. Here he comes. Look, the Subaru goes through, or does he? There's contact, but Ash Sutton keeps on coming. Job done. Now for second place, Moffat is on the outside, and Rob Collard, I think finally he's going to be able to work a way through here. He breaks late down for the chicane. Oh, done it at last.
Well, but it's good for Moffat. He's only let one car through, although here comes the Honda and Josh Cook. That weight's really started to take its toll on his tyres now.
Indeed so. And Josh Cook leans on him a little bit. They cross swords at Brands Hatch. Moffat's in no mood to give up, and here comes Sutton. Dives up the inside, levels with the Ford, and Ash Sutton is going to go through because he's got the tighter line for Hollywood. He's got the inside line, but Josh Cook is not going to give up this without a fight as they run side by side through the crater curves. This is brave stuff into the old hairpin. Ash Sutton is the braver. He's got the inside line. He breaks later. He takes the place as Moffat runs wide, and Sutton straight away pulls to the outside of Schwann's curve. There's just about room. 2 wheels on the curb. That's the inside line for McLean's. Is this going to pay out for Ash Sutton? Yes, it is. Fantastic racing. Through they come, up towards the completion of the lap, and as they work their way then now up through Coppice Corner, Moffat loses another spot because Cook goes through. Here comes Matt Neal up the inside, and there's a slow Subaru as well trying to keep out of the way. So the line of cars has continued to grow. Josh Cook has got himself up past Aidan Moffat. Turkington is still struggling to make progress though.
Yeah, Colin's been, Colin drives very precisely. He doesn't always get his elbows out. He can be very patient, but when you've got a gaggle of cars this big, being patient, somebody just jumps you. They force the issue. And in this car, Harrington is, come on, they're getting away from us. Stop blocking, come on.
That's Will Burns. He's encouraging, and Burns gets into Davenport, going into Redgate.
Yeah, and opens the door for Taylor Smith. Careful, this is where it all went wrong last time round.
And he has a look to the inside, Aaron Taylor-Smith. He's got Stephen Jelly behind him. He's also got bits of his own car falling off there. That was the rear of the MG that's just parted company. Makes it a bit lighter. Yeah. Down through the old hairpin goes Aaron Taylor-Smith. We are on lap 7 of 16. Tom Ingram is leading by 2 seconds now. Andrew Jordan recovering after his first lap dramas. He's down in 26th place. But he has done the fastest lap of the race.
Wow, he's flying. That's a bit of anger there in that cockpit, in that Pertec BMW, as side by side, looks like a NASCAR race. God.
So who's in all of this? Right, inside is Jeff Smith, outside is Adam Morgan. The next row of the Rolling Stars almost is Ant Walton-Eels and Dave Newsham. And Matt Neal slots into the chicane just ahead. Matt Simpson's joining in as well. He's another feisty racer. Right, at the end of lap 7, Ingram is leading. On the grass is Ant Walton-Eels. Second is Collard. Third is Shedden. Fourth is Sutton. Fifth is Cook. Sixth is Moffat. Turkington 7th. Neal 8th. 9th is Jeff Smith. 10th is Goff. 11th is Morgan. And then 12th is now Ollie Jackson. 13th on the outside there, Dave Newsham in the BTC Norlin Chevrolet. Behind him you had Matt Simpson and Mike Epps. There's Ant Walton-Eels in that little battle pack as well. And all of this you're looking at is for 11th place, and it's as fierce a fight as anywhere.
Yeah, but of course 11th place could easily become 10th, could easily become pole. That's why they're fighting so hard.
So Mike Epps, remember, has had to make progress up from the rear of the grid after his dramas in the opener, and he is chipping away up through the order as they work their way now round McLean's. Aidan Moffat hanging on in the top 6. Adam Morgan goes wide. That car Not too much ballast on board this time. Turkington into the tail of Moffat. 75 kilos, remember, on Aidan Moffat's car, and he's still soldiering on, doing a very good job. This is certainly the best we've ever seen of Aidan. A win and this very good drive in race 2, and he's now defending from a double champion in Colin Turkington.
Yeah, and Matt Neal. So he's got the champions all over him, but he's not scared of anyone, is he? Coming out of the next corner, Redgate, if Turkington forces him to the inside, he'll be slow off the corner. That's what he's trying to do. Oh, he's left the door open for Matt Neal. So Turkington goes to the outside. Will he get all the way around the outside, or will Moffat push him wide? He's going to do it. I think he'll probably have the greater acceleration, and then the left-hand kink as they go through Craner curves. Now, will he get it? Yes, he will.
He will go through. Aidan Moffat's got the inside line for the old hairpin. Is he going to fight back? He thinks about it, but he's also got to defend from Matt Neal. So 75 kilos for Moffat. Matt Neal's lighter Honda chases as they work their way now uphill once more. Don't forget, Matt Neal's got 66 kilos on board, so there's not much to choose between them in terms of weight, but Matt's vast experience coming into play. Moffat there just runs a little bit wide. In the background, another of the Audis kicking up the dirt there. So Antwater Neal's pressing on as Ash Sutton now challenges Gordon Shedden. Now this is for 3rd place. Remember, Sutton started race 1 31st, and he's now up to 3rd in race 2. It shows how you can build a weekend.
Well, it's incredible, because the first race... I can't take my eyes off the screen as poor old Aidan Moffat loses another couple of places now. It's really getting hard work. But Ash Sutton, what fantastic change from race from the first meeting at Brands, where the car was scaring him. It was jumping out of his hands. Now he's got some stability in the chassis and some security. It's given him confidence, and he's driving the wheels off it.
And there is Luke Davenport getting involved with all of the Team Hard Volkswagens. There's Will Burns, Mike Epps and Jake Hill in the mix there. You've got Andrew Jordan. I think Aaron Taylor-Smith is somewhere in there in the MG as well. So Luke Davenport, touring car rookie, remember, former GT racer. Very much in the thick of the battle here in the motor base run. Ford Focus coming out of the old hairpin. Jordan chipping his way back up the order, 20th at the start of the lap. There he is in the BMW Team Pertec car as he heads up towards McLean's, and Moffat's been tagged sideways there. Going through McLean's, he got a shot of the Mercedes all sideways. He's managed to hang on to it. Shedden is off the road now. Gordon Shedden has run wide coming out of Coppice. That's cost him at least 1 place, maybe more. We'll check at the end of the lap as they come down to the braking zone. So Gordon Shedden off the road, and it was self-induced, seemingly.
Yeah, did it all by himself. Did well to hold it, but is it indicative of another problem? That's the main question. Because Shedden was running in 5th place. I don't think he lost a position, actually. No, he's still come across the line, Shedden, but Turkington only 1.4 seconds behind. Look, and has Shedden got any kind of issue?
Yeah, Shedden on the option tyre. He's lost 1 place to Josh Cook, hasn't he? But he is still the best of those on the option rubber. This battle, you're looking at Moffat ahead of Simpson, but that is the race leader. Lest we forget, Tom Ingram is leading by 3.3 seconds now as he works his way up towards McLean's corner. The man that's chasing him is Rob Collard, and then 3rd is Ash Sutton. What a drive.
Yeah, and Ash Sutton on that last, actually all 3 of them set identical lap times, 1 minute 10.9, so no difference between them. And in fact their fastest lap's very similar as well, but Ingram has the faster lap. Although the quickest man still actually on the track was Andy Jordan, who set that lap earlier on.
Yeah, when he was playing catch-up, you're right. So you've got the 2 Eurotech Hondas together with Le Patron ahead at the moment, Jeff Smith ahead of Jack Goff, Adam Morgan is behind them, and Dave Newsham squeezes up the inside. Well, Morgan got done for using the grass earlier. Newsham had his wheels on the dirt there, absolutely, but he's alongside Adam Morgan, and then right up behind them as they work their way down to the chicane is Tom Chilton. Newsham goes through. The Chevrolet Cruze, run by Burt Taylor's BTC Norlin operation, gains a place. Dave Newsham, a touring car race winner of seasons past, remember. And we know he's a hard racer. He's got himself up the order. There is a driving standards flag being ready for Antwater Neal's. That might be track limit abuse, if anything. But as they work their way round Redgate for the 12th time, plenty of great racing all the way through the pack. And there, Adam Morgan, who is down now into 12th place, having to try and fend off the hard-charging Chilton. Come down towards the right-hander of the old hairpin, and Aidan Moffat fading away as the option tyre and the weight really starts to tell.
Yeah, inevitably. I mean, he's trying desperately to stay in that top 10, but it's not going to be possible, I don't think.
Andrew Jordan is still trying to get into the top 10. He's put himself up past Martin Depper. He's still hunting for another place. Mike Epps is the next target, and Andrew Jordan right into the back of him there. There's a gap on the inside, and AJ is going to take it on the run up towards Coppice. So the BMW will go through on the inside line. And does the Ford try to follow suit? Yes, it does. Up the inside goes Martin Depper. So Jordan continues to make progress up the order. The better he finishes, the higher up the grid he is for the next race. Luke Davenport there in the yellow Ford is ahead of Ollie Jackson. Then you've got Will Burns also having his best showing of the season, I would venture to suggest. New to touring car racing this year, as well as is Luke Davenport. Over the timing line they go. Ollie Jackson leans on Luke Davenport. Burns thought about going between them and then thought better of it. Luke Davenport is now 16th as they dive into Redgate, and look at that, all four wheels up the curb. Ollie Jackson bounces off Will Burns and slots in behind. Yeah, I think we've seen more rallycross in this race than Donington's ever seen before in its life. And we've still got, what, 3 laps to go at the end of this. As down they come, Jake Hill there squeezes up the inside of Senna Proctor to hang on to the place. That's for 19th. Then he runs out wide. Andrew Jordan is up with them, looking to try to go through. But of course, they're busy battling, and Andrew Jordan's got to time this just right, hasn't he, to nip through the traffic. Senna Proctor, third generation racer. Father Mark used to race in the BTCC. Grandfather Tony Proctor, great rallycrosser of the 1980s with his Ford Capri. And Proctor up the inside of Hill, second generation racer. Andrew Jordan, who's down, of course, Mike, GT champion, touring car race. He's on the inside of Hill. Look at the trim flapping off the back of the Astra then of Proctor as they head down to the chicane. Which way does Jordan go? There's no real gap on the inside, but he's going to get through on the inside of the Volkswagen, so another place gained. Well, Senna Proctor opened the door beautifully at Coppice there, at McLean's there. Really did an expert job. And now Jack Goff up the inside of Jeff Smith, and they tag Chilton, who gets sideways and gets run out wide. Here comes Morgan back up the inside. He's gained a place out of all of that. It's the race that keeps on giving, isn't it? Every battle seems to be shuffling around, and there Gordon Sheridan versus Colin Turkington. I wonder whether Colin suffered something early on in the race, because that car has never looked quite as racy as I was anticipating it from the second row with 48 kilos on board, but he's still attacking. Gordon Sheridan goes defensive. There's just not quite the width of a BMW on the inside, so Turkington tries the outside at Coppice. Well, he's trying to cut back actually there, but Sheridan's wise to it and keeps the door firmly planted. Something happened to Sheridan. He wasn't happy on those tyres or something, but certainly lost pace. Turkington got muscled back, didn't he, in those early laps, and then the distance is too great with 1 lap to go. Over the timing line they come, so through goes Gordon Shedden, Colin Turkington on his tail. The gap is 0.153 of a second with 2 laps to run. Round Redgate they go. Ingram is still leading. He's 4 seconds up the road now over Rob Collard. And Ash Sutton is third, having really turned his weekend around. Yeah, apologies, 2 laps for... Oh, and we've got Matt Simpson stuck in quite a dangerous place, just coming out of the chicane, and damage on the front of the AMD car. Ollie Jackson. Pulling off, that's Ollie Jackson. So there's been some contact at the chicane. And can they leave Simpson's car there? I'm not sure. He was battling with Will Burns, and bang, he got hit from behind, didn't he? As he was sliding across the road, he got hit by the Audi. But if that car can't be moved, let's see what happens next. There's a lap to run at the end of this one. Ollie Jackson, he's out of the race. Great shame, because the Audis were going so well. Ingram comes through the chicane, waved yellow flags. Simpson's car, it is in an awkward place, but a lap to run. 1 lap to run, but it does mean that there's probably going to be yellow at the chicane on the final lap. Yeah, it'll preclude overtaking, but for the rest of the lap, Collard versus Sutton for second place. Gordon Sheridan, by the way, is being given a driving standards flag. Can Ash Sutton get himself up past Rob Collard on the last lap of the race? Sutton is charging. He was on pole position here last year when he drove the MG. He switched to a rear-wheel drive touring car for this year, and he's hustling on behind Rob Collard. This is going to go, sadly, not quite down to the wire, because the chicane will have the yellow, so he's got to get the job done by Coppice. Yeah, it doesn't look like he's quite got an advantage anywhere to really force the issue. All he could do is stay in the wheel tracks of Collard, who's not defending too hard, so not compromising his own speed and line. Having seen that through there, look, Ash Sutton was really quick, and now just the final corner effectively, because unless he's in front before they get to the yellow flag, which he might be with a beautiful move up the inside, could
do this, but it depends when they get to the yellow who's in front.
And Collard is just going to have his nose in front, I think, on the outside, and he will secure the place. Oh, so close for Ash Sutton. But as they come out of the chicane, it is going to be a race win for Tom Ingram then. The checkered flag is waved. Tom Ingram wins round 5 at the British Touring Car Championship. Rob Collard will come home for second place. Ash Sutton is third. Fourth goes the way of Josh Cook. Behind for fifth, Colin Turkington, ahead of Gordon Shedden then. So the BMW ahead of the Honda. But there, almost unnoticed, the race winner Tom Ingram, after a great drive, got himself into the lead, secured the gap, and we're still not done yet, because there, flashing past the stricken car, goes Adam Morgan, and Atwater Neal's right up with him, and they go across the line on the tail as well of Jeff Smith. They just got ahead of Smith, in fact, as they came across the timing line. All of that was going on for 11th, 12th and 13th places. Still they come pouring over the line. We'll do the full result in a few moments once the timing screen has updated itself, but delight for Christian Dick and for Bruce Ingram. Speedworks takes a second win of the season, and Tom rather spoils this different winner in every race, because he is the only person to have done the double in the 5 races we've had so far. But it shows another year on how Tom Ingram has come on as a driver, how Speedworks has moved on as a team, and that, remember, was done with 39 kilos of weight on board. It came from the third row of the grid, and it was a win by just under 4 seconds.
But crucially on the prime tyre. Great victory, strong race. Collard, well, what a racer. We knew he was going to come through from behind Turkington on the grid and really muscled his way. Ash Sutton, what a great drive up to third. He backed out of that manoeuvre on Collard on the last lap because of the yellow flag. Others appeared not to behind them, and produced a great third place. But what a fantastic result for Josh Cook in the Maximum Motorsport car. That is their best ever result for Maximum Motorsport in the Ford Focus. So there he is, fantastic result for them. Yeah, so him and Sutton, the two ex-MG teammates, finishing third and fourth in totally different cars this year.